Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about a family I've been working with for a short period of time now, the Smiths, and I'll discuss a little bit about the family dynamics, some of the theoretical approaches and models I'm going to use when working with this family, and discuss the treatment plan that we came up with together at our first session, and a little bit about the goals and objectives that we're going to do to meet those. Um, so the family is a 34-year-old woman and her 13-year-old son. Um, their names are Joey and Jesse, and they were referred to our agency because Joey had just recently been caught smoking marijuana outside of school and had been charged, and the courts required him to go to 2 weeks of an inpatient substance abuse center for kids, and after that, he's to return home and continue therapy with community service. Um, During our first session in the assessment, we found out that Joey's father had just passed away less than a year ago, and that's caused a lot of hardship for the family. Joey and Jesse have had a hard time communicating since the loss of Joey's father, and it's been creating a lot of stress and anxiety in the house because they haven't been able to communicate very well. Um, this has also created quite a bit of financial hardship for Jessie, and she was just recently forced to move out of her house that her and her husband had owned for the past 12 years and move into a small bedroom apartment. The house was in a rural area, and Joey enjoyed doing things like um, four-wheeling and going hunting and fishing, and now they're living in a small one-bedroom apartment in an apartment complex in town. Um, since the move, Jesse reports even more changes in Joey, that he has been caught drinking at home quite a few times. He's been fighting both at school and with some of the kids in the neighborhood. His grades have always been good until the move, and now they have dropped. And he's been skipping a lot of school, and Jesse's really worried about some of the kids he's been hanging out with and the decisions he's been making. Um, this family does have some social support in the area. Jessie says that her parents live only 2 or 3 miles away, and they have been helping out a lot with the care of Joey, and both financially too, since the loss of her husband. And she's been very grateful for that. She does have a good job. It's a steady job. It pays decent, but it doesn't have very good benefits, which has been hard on her. And she does report having some close friends in her apartment complex that she's been able to help out, and they've helped, get Joey off the bus and things like that, and that is a good support. So when working with them, I'm going to apply the objects relations family therapy theory model, which is going to be that I want to enable Joey and Jesse to begin communicating with each other again in a healthy way that's going to help them to grow past this tragedy of losing her husband and his father. Objects relations therapy, it stems from objects relations theory and attachment theory. Um, in object relations theory, relationship problems have their origin within early life experiences with the family, and then those experiences are going to play out in your current family situation. Um, Relationships with others represent a core need, so life is an ongoing story of the need for connection with others, and the need to be a individual as well, but connect with the family. The term object in object relations has implications of relationships between individuals, and objects are not individuals. It's more of a relationship. Attachment theory is kind of the theory that an infant is born dependent upon the mother and has the capacities to do that. It's also noted that traumatic experiences early in life can be especially problematic for a child's attachment. Um, my role that I'm going to play in this is I'm going to kind of be the new attachment figure. I'm going to try to enable this family to transform the anxiety that they've been feeling about the communication problems they've been having and all the different changes, and let them express that to themselves, and communicate open freely in a way that's going to help them grow. Joey, right now, we have him diagnosed with the adjustment disorder and also cannabis use. We created some bit of a treatment plan, and one of our first goals, of course, is that Joey will not use substances. Some of the objectives that we want him to do leading up to that are I want him to find 2 meetings in his area that he can go to, and I want him to attend 1 weekly and obtain 2 sobriety supports that can help him stay clean and sober while he's still making the transformation back to home. We also want Joey's been having some anger outbursts that we want to lessen, so we're gonna he wants to decrease his frequency of anger outbursts. What he's gonna do first is identify 3 triggers to those outbursts, and we're gonna identify 2 coping skills that he can use, and he's going to successfully implement those 2 coping strategies to decrease the frequency by termination. Also, we want Jesse and Joey to have more positive interactions together. So we're going to help them to learn 2 new communication skills throughout this treatment. And we're going to practice that during our sessions. And this is going to be a self-reported goal. And we want to have at least 3 or 4 positive communication interactions between Jesse and Joey per week. We also want Jesse and Joey. We think it may improve their relationship to discuss the feelings surrounding the loss of their husband and his father, because it's a subject that they have not really talked about with each other yet. This goal is going to be met when they can have that conversation and successfully talk with one another. But right now, we just want them both to process how those feelings are for themselves. And hopefully by the end of treatment, that conversation could be facilitated. Some of the techniques that we're going to use, specific intervention techniques, is that I want Joey and Jesse, they're going to begin to use I statements with each other to help express their feelings and not get frustrated with each other as easily. During our first session, we discussed it a little bit, and it's going to help them to reduce the blaming of one another and encourage their healthy expression of emotions. I also think that I'm going to try some poetry therapy with this family. Poetry therapy really is the kind of use of written word to facilitate the conversation of feelings and emotions. And since this family, they are having a hard time communicating and expressing those feelings, I think both with themselves and each other, poetry therapy may help in that situation. I also want to promote the sharing of emotions through games. I think we want to have a lot of positive interactions, so I think games would be fun. Something like, the M&M emotion game, where we can assign, red M&Ms will be anger, and blue M&Ms will be sad, and then whenever they pick one out, they have to share that emotion before they can eat it. Stuff like that may be fun and may help the family to relax a little bit. Okay, so as far as our goals, after the first session at our second, Joey has identified 1 meeting that he could attend, that he could ride his bike to, but he did not attend it, but he has made some progress. Positive interactions between Joey and Jesse, self-reported, have been better this past week as they use the I statements with each other. Most of the time they reported. And discussing their feelings and emotions about the loss of their father, his father, has not occurred yet. So in conclusion, this family was referred to us for substance abuse. Joey got caught smoking outside of school But there's a lot more to it. We find that the loss of of Jesse's husband and Joey's father has created a lot of communication issues. I'm going to work with family, objects, relations, therapy, and theory to work with this family to communicate with each other in a healthier, more productive way that can promote individual growth as well as connections with one another. And some of our main goals, of course, are for Joey to stay substance free and clean and sober, for Joey to have less anger outbursts, for communication to improve, and positive interactions between Joey and Jesse are going to improve. And ultimately, we want the family to be able to share their feelings about the traumatic event that happened with one another. So, thank you.